Morning, ladies. It's Malin with the Owls again. We're still in the resolution for women. I wanted to read you the resolution that we've been working on this morning, and we've gone through it a little bit already, and we're going to finish it up today. It is number 5 in the list. There are actually 13 resolutions, and we're working on number 5. It says, "I will seek to devote the best of myself, my time and my talents to the primary roles the Lord has entrusted to me in this phase of my life." We're also in the second section of the book, and the second section is called "This is What I Have." There's some little subsections in there, and the subsection that we're working on right now is "My Best." And my best is a resolution to devote myself completely to God's priorities in my life. We've already done boxes. Timing is everything. Anything, everything, and whatever was our last one. And today we're going to be in It Only Works When I Breathe. So I'm going to read this, and we're going to read the discussion questions at the end. Again, if you have anything to add, please comment below the video, like and share it, which helps promote the Owls and lets other women see. Might speak to somebody that you have no idea that they needed to hear a word from God today. So let's begin. It only works when I breathe. We're on page 105 if you have the book. My family and I have become professional travelers. We've learned how to pack lightly and navigate an airport in no time flat. Boarding an airplane, even with children in tow, is not nearly as difficult as it once was. We've pretty much gotten it down to a science. In fact, my boys have become so familiar with planes, airports, they've started to mimic the airline attendants and their pre-flight spiels. You know, please keep your seatbelt fastened while the fastened seatbelt sign is lit. Lock your tables and bring your seats back to an upright position. If you're seated in an emergency exit row but do not wish to perform the functions described in the event of an emergency, please ask a flight attendant to reseat you. But no instruction is more entertaining to my children than when the attendant stands up to do his or her little demonstration, pulls out a clear plastic bag attached to a yellow cone with 2 little strings hanging down from it, and says, "In case of an emergency, oxygen masks will automatically drop down and appear in front of you. If you are traveling with a child or anyone acting like a child," as one stewardess added, "secure your own mask first, then assist the other person. This one bothers my boys. Why should the adult get the mask first, they wonder. It seems natural to them that the kid should go first. So typical. I do my best to explain that they can't receive proper aid until the person helping them is capable of doing so. If I were to pass out from lack of oxygen, for example, I wouldn't be able to provide them with the care they need and deserve. But how about you? Are you suffocating from a lack of oxygen while trying to ensure everyone else has sufficient care? That's the question I want you to consider before you sign the next resolution. Over the last 3 chapters, I've encouraged you to give the best of yourself to others, and yet doing so will be impossible if you don't have anything to give. A fatigued, unhealthy body will not have the energy to make it through the day. Skilled and mental capabilities that have been dulled and left unattended will not keep you sharp enough to be of full use to your family and loved ones. But being unattuned spiritually to the Lord and His Word will cause you to be deflated, lacking the Spirit's direction and fruit that enables you to give when you feel like you have nothing left to offer. Therefore, making time for what I call good self-care is not a luxury. It's a necessity for any women wanting to make this resolution. You will never be able to give the best of yourself if you're not taking care of yourself to begin with. I'm well aware of the difficulty I may have presented here. Yes, what a difficulty. Having the time to do anything for yourself may seem out of the question, maybe even highly selfish. Given your time constraints, a single mother of 2 children, or a mom with a special needs child, or a grown daughter with aging parents, or a wife whose husband's career keeps him on the road several days a week, or a single professional saddled with a a single professional saddled with a tall stack of obligations. This list could go on, couldn't it? I mean, we could all add a numerous amount of things that keep us from taking care of ourselves, where we've put other people in front of us. But let's go on in the book. And whichever phase you'd best describe you, it would probably mitigate against the ready availability of any personal time for yourself. At the beginning of this section, when I asked you to rearrange your boxes, I'm almost certain that many of the ones pertaining to the things that are filled to you personally were the ones you reassigned to the back of the line. That's usually where our own care goes when we start getting serious about life. Many women assume and are taught that these are the sacrifices we make when needing to squeeze the most from each minute in the day and maximize our time. So we feel terribly guilty when we even consider taking a moment to relax and rejuvenate. But hold on a minute. Why wouldn't taking care of yourself be considered one of the best possible uses of your time when doing so sets the tone for the rest of your entire life? Now, I know that not everyone can head off to the spa for half-day treatments once a week or do shopping and lunch with their girlfriends every afternoon. Certainly not me. Time and money keep those luxuries from being feasible for most of us. Neither am I giving you a license to be self-absorbed. I'm saying this, however. If you don't have any oxygen, you will begin to suffocate. That's just the truth. I can do everything. Don't worry about me. I'll be fine. Thank you, friend. So, what simple pleasures could you participate in that would rejuvenate you? Many of us don't even know what simple fun looks like anymore. For me, spending a few moments alone, doing the grocery shopping, or sneaking off to a movie with a friend after the kids are in bed, constitutes good self-care. Waking up a wee bit earlier than the 3 growing boys to jog and pray for 30 minutes in the quiet of the morning always refreshes me. And sometimes when those afternoon hours bring a lull that woos me to sleep, a quick 30-minute nap after my 2-year-old has gone down often does the trick. It's also been recommended to me as I've gotten older that I must consider the changing needs of my body. What is required to stay replenished, energized, and healthy 10 years ago is different from what it needs today. This has meant reconsidering what foods I eat, what vitamins I take, and the consistency with which I seek healthcare professionals throughout the year. Additionally, I try not to allow the passions God has given me to get trampled under the busyness of life. Whenever I can, I do the small things that help me continue to grow and develop, stay in tune with those areas. What might give you a fresh draft of oxygen? It doesn't have to be expensive or particularly time-consuming. A walk after dinner, a cup of tea at a friend's kitchen table, picking up the novel that's been sitting on your nightstand, getting to the office 10 minutes early to be alone with God before the workday starts. Often a quick interval of quiet can give you just the boost you need to be back on your feet and engaged in the tasks at hand. Or if being around other people is what energizes you, oh yes, planning even a short outing with a group of friends can do the trick. Set a timer if you have to, but do it. There's just no way around it. If you're going to stay sharp, if you're going to keep your oxygen levels up, you need a break every now and then. It's not a break from your life, it's a break for your life. If you live with someone, your husband or roommate, ask him or her to help ensure that this becomes a regular part of your life. I've often wondered if there are people within our own churches who could help us with this. For instance, there are other moms around with the same time constraints you have. What if you arrange to keep one another's children for 2-hour intervals on occasion so that one of you could have a few minutes to run errands alone? Or what if there's a single mom who really wants to know what it's like to be a wife and mother? In exchange for your real-life mentorship, maybe she could come over to get some hands-on experience for an hour here and there and give you enough time to do something that would really recharge you or give you a sense of accomplishment. Or maybe, if you live close to a friend, the two of you could arrange a little co-op cooking. If you're already preparing a meal one night, Why not make enough for both of your families so the other mom can make use of the time when she'd normally be fixing dinner? Then take turns so that the both of you can benefit from this trade-off. Creatively consider how you could arrange small pockets of time like this so you can snatch some moments for yourself. And single women, I want to warn you against assuming, just because you're single, that you're off the hook on this topic. Some of the busiest, most overwhelmed people I know are single. Without the built-in personal restraints a married woman might have, you might not be careful enough to keep from overextending yourself. You're going to bed late and waking up even earlier the next day. You're busier than any one person should be, showing up to a lot of activities, but often unable to offer your best because you're so tired all the time. Losing your grip on your primary callings. More critically, you're setting a precedent that will follow you into marriage. Engaging in good self-care now will help you develop a habit that continues to benefit you throughout your life. I've often heard that the best gift a couple can give their children is a healthy marriage. And yet, with the daily demands of parenting, one of the hardest things to do is to spend time with your husband, building your friendship, enjoying your partnership, keeping the passion alive. Isn't this the truth? The same is true for you as a woman. The best gift you can give those you love is to take care of yourself, even though it can be one of the hardest things for you to prioritize. And yet, by running yourself ragged, trying to do everything morning till night, you're in essence trying to be God. Overwork is a form of unbelief. You're saying through your actions that you don't believe He can take care of everything, meaning you're on the hook for it. But playing God is exhausting. After all, He's the only one up to the job. So take a step back from your life, take a fresh look at it, and ask yourself, when will I put on my oxygen mask so I can breathe? Reading this, I've read it a couple times. It's definitely spoke to me. Being in the busyness of my life, over the past year. It's been a year. Oh, it's amazing what God does in a year when you just look back and see where He's carried you and where He's taken you. He's removed a lot of my busyness.